Nobody tells you this about the gap between knowing and doing. Researchers once tracked thousands of people across dozens of separate studies, all asking the same simple question. Does intending to do something actually predict whether you'll do it? The answer surprised almost everyone involved. On average, people follow through on their own good intentions only about half the time. Not because they're lazy, not because they lack discipline, because your brain treats wanting and doing as two separate decisions made by two different systems that don't always talk to each other. You already know this feeling. You know you should go to bed earlier. You know you should stop checking your bank balance at midnight and start actually planning it. You know the workout, the budget, the difficult conversation you keep putting off. The knowing was never the problem. So what is? Let's break down exactly what's happening in your brain every time you decide to change and then quietly don't. Level 1. Present bias. Your brain is wired to value an immediate reward over a future one, even when the future reward is objectively bigger. Economists call this hyperbolic discounting. Here's the math. Say you could have $50 today, or $80 in 3 months. Most people take the 50, even though waiting means a 60% return on nothing but patience. Your brain isn't bad at math. It's just built to trust right now more than it trusts later, because for most of human history, later wasn't guaranteed. Level 2. The stranger effect. Neuroscientist Hal Hershfield ran brain scans on people while they thought about their future selves. And the scans showed something strange. When people imagined themselves 10 years from now, the brain activity looked almost identical to when they thought about a complete stranger. Not a slightly older version of you. A different person entirely, as far as your brain is concerned. So when future, you needs the savings, or the discipline, or the finished project, present, you doesn't feel much urgency. Why would you sacrifice for someone who barely feels related to you? Level 3. Friction. Every single step between deciding and doing adds resistance, and resistance compounds fast. Opening the banking app, finding the right screen, typing the amount, confirming the transfer. Each step only takes a few seconds, but stack 5 or 6 of those seconds together, and you've built a wall your motivation has to climb every single time. Behavioral researcher B.J. Fogg found that the deciding factor in whether a habit sticks usually isn't motivation at all. It's how many steps stand between the thought and the action. Fewer steps, more follow-through, every time. Level 4. The missing trigger. This is the one nobody explains clearly. A goal like, I want to save more money, has no moment attached to it. No time, no place, no cue. Psychologist Peter Gollwitzer studied what happens when people attach a specific if-then plan to a goal instead of a vague intention. Something like, if it's 7 p.m., then I move $20 into savings before I open any other app. In his research, people using this simple structure were roughly 2 to 3 times more likely to actually follow through compared to people with the exact same goal and no trigger attached. Same desire. Same person. Completely different outcome. Just because one version had a moment and the other didn't. Here's the twist almost nobody wants to hear. Trying harder makes this worse, not better. Willpower behaves like a muscle that fatigues throughout the day. So the more you rely on gritting your teeth through a decision, the more likely you are to lose that fight later when you're tired, stressed, or distracted. Which means the plan of, I'll just have more discipline this time, was never a real plan. It was a hope wearing a plan's clothes. So here's what actually works instead. Stop setting goals. Start setting triggers. Take the one thing you keep meaning to do and attach it to an exact time and an exact place, written down in an if-then sentence. Not, I want to save more. Instead, if it's 7 p.m. and I'm home, then I move $20 into savings before I touch my phone. Not, I should budget better. Instead, if I get paid, then I split that money into 3 accounts before the day ends. The specificity is the whole mechanism. Your brain doesn't need more motivation. It needs a moment it can recognize. Think about the last thing you told yourself you'd start eventually. A better relationship with your money, a better relationship with your time. It was never missing effort. It was missing a trigger. And the honest, slightly uncomfortable truth is that most people spend years chasing more motivation, more discipline, more willpower, when the actual fix was always this small. One sentence, one moment, one if then. If you've ever known exactly what to do and still didn't do it, comment trigger. Because that means you're ready to stop blaming yourself for something that was never a discipline problem in the first place. Nobody tells you this about the gap between knowing and doing. It was never about wanting it enough. It was about giving that want a moment to live in. If this changed how you think about the goals you keep almost starting, subscribe to this channel. There's more of this waiting for you. This video was brought to you by Joswill.